Is RuPaul's Drag Race a sin?
Yes.
Why is it a sin?
Do you know who Jezebel is?
And how, weren't you saying Rosa Parks was a communist spy last time we left off?
I didn't say she was a spy.
She was a communist.
She was a communist. Few control the many. And when the few are indoctrinating the public schools education system...
I'm surprised you haven't divorced your wife yet.
Why?
I mean, didn't she cheat on you and you had a physical altercation with her?
Yeah.
So why don't you divorce her?
I have every right to.
So do it.
Why would I do it because a little kid tells me to do it? I mean, just think about that for a second. If I haven't done it yet, do you think I'm gonna suddenly do it because some 18-year-old boy tells me to go do it?
Well, why didn't you do it?
Why didn't I do it? See, that's a better question. And she physically throws herself onto the ground and makes it look like I shoved her right in front of my 3-year-old son. And from that moment on, when he was my bestest friend, he wouldn't even come near me because I was the bad guy. And she pulled a Rosa Parks. You understand? Is it starting to connect now?
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time. Ain't nobody got time for that.
All right, Lord, give us a good fish. Let's see how long it takes for us to get us a good fish. I started taking my oil of oregano again.
Not making you shit. Is that the reason why you started?
No, it was giving me vertigo. But I think the reason why is because I might have ate it on an empty stomach and I'm taking 2 a day. Right now I'm only taking 1 a day and I'm eating like a big breakfast with it. Oh, who's this? Bastard Violence. Why you back, man? What do you want to talk about? I think we came to a dead end. You want to talk about God? You agree with the house rules? Yes. All right. What was your name again? Ian. It's a young buck, 18-year-old. All right, you said you agreed to the house rules. Bastard Violence.
Yo, what up?
What's up?
I want to talk about, is RuPaul's Drag Race a sin?
Yes.
Why is it a sin?
Do you know who Jezebel is?
No, what's that?
There was King Ahab, and Jezebel was a foreign princess from a foreign land that worshipped Baal. And King Ahab thought with this small pee-pee rather than his big head, and
What's this little bitch?
married Jezebel. And then Jezebel was the prophetess for Baal, and the prophets and prophetesses of Baal did exactly what RuPaul does. And of
RuPaul's
course,
a goat. He's a funny guy.
I'm not saying he's not funny. I mean, he's not my kind of funny, but that's not the issue.
So last time we had a conversation about the OG community, right? And how, weren't you saying Rosa Parks was a communist spy last time we left off?
I didn't say she was a spy.
She was a communist.
She was a communist. She was known for attending a communist school, the same one that Martin Luther King also attended. Just months before she participated in that event on the bus, she didn't need to get on the bus because she could drive and she had her own car. She created a situation, instigated it, and then when all hell broke loose, she got exactly what she was desiring. And that's exactly what the communist playbook agenda trains you to do.
Well, I mean, didn't she do it, if it was on purpose or not, didn't she do it because of Jim Crow to protest against the second class? Because whites were the first upper class during Jim Crow. So I think she was doing it in protest. And why does it matter if she's a communist or not?
Why does it matter? It's so naive of you. When the enemies plant these cell groups into your country to utilize the concept of division, dividing and conquering, creating chaos, and you think of it as social justice. I mean, that's how naive and how cooked our world is. You actually think that that's virtuous for you to think that way. But it's just naive ignorance and not understanding actual history because you were programmed by your public school education.
In order to unpack this and see what has been hidden right in plain sight in front of us this entire time, we need to start with how the Rothschilds took over the education system. Because in order to control this and carry this out, you would have to control the books, you would have to control the flow of information, and you would have to be able to write history. Check this video out.
So this is a great one, and I always talk about the school system because who owns it? Bankers. Check this. Peabody Educational Fund 1865. That's actually J.P. Morgan. And look at Southern Educational Fund 1899, controlling the South. Then you move to George Foster Peabody. He gets connected and goes to John D. Rockefeller. Board of Southern Education Fund, $1 million. Then he creates the board in 1905, owns owns all the schools and then absorbed into the General Education Board in 1960s, the foundation. So these families right here own all the school system. So whoever you learn from, this is who you're learning from. You're getting brainwashed and propaganda rather than thinking outside the box and using critical thinking.
So what is your preferred government? Capitalism? Like,
Capitalism is way better than communism. Yes, of course.
how is it better? I mean, we have to pay for healthcare. That's insane. Capitalism breeds on the most vulnerable.
Communism does.
It costs money to get to work. In capitalism, you have to pay for public transport.
Everything costs money, bro. Everything costs money. And if you think that capitalism is bad, hold up. Let me just respond. Because, look, there's pros and cons to both sides. There's pros and cons to capitalism, and you just mentioned some of the cons. But if you look at the pros and cons to communism, the cons far outweigh the pros. You're thinking of, oh, well, we wouldn't have to pay for health insurance if we were in a communist nation, but then you don't think of the other side of the coin. Yeah, and then you also wouldn't have any autonomy, no freedom, no flexibility, no means of expressing yourself, because it's a matter of, oh, you gotta fit under this cookie cut template, and if you don't fit in this template, oh, well,
Oh, you're not thinking the right way. I guess you don't get this free healthcare.
yeah, we're gonna have to take away this free healthcare from you.
Okay, so what about the comment? Do you agree that the school system has indoctrinated me?
That's what I was just saying, man. You've been indoctrinated by the education system.
Have you seen the education system? Like, have you spent a day in high school nowadays?
What would that matter?
Because you don't know what it's like if you don't know what's going on.
My name is Chloe Cole. I'm 18, and my story is not hyperbole. Starting around the age of 12, I began to believe that I was transgender. This belief was not organic. All the media I consumed as a kid showed me how stupid and vulnerable being a girl was. All the sexualized images of women gave me an unrealistic expectation of womanhood. I spent a lot of time online, and quickly saw all the praise coming out of trans god on Instagram and other social media. I was a bit awkward in school and had some trouble making friends. Like many dysphoric children, I also suffer from a variety of mental health conditions, so I easily fell prey to the narrative that if I felt different and did not want to be a highly sexualized girl, I must be a boy. I obsessed over becoming a boy. I believed that all my insecurities and anxiety would magically disappear once I transitioned. The mental health professionals did not try to dissuade me of this delusional belief. I was fast-tracked into medical transition after I was diagnosed with dysphoria. In California, a child can pick their gender identity, and a care provider questioning that would be considered conversion therapy. This wasn't a misdiagnosis, it was mistreatment. My parents were told that the options were transition or they complied because they were not offered any other treatment solution for my distress. My distraught parents wanted me alive, so they listened to my doctors. I was placed on puberty blockers and testosterone after expressing my gender dysphoria to my therapist, and I was approved for a double mastectomy all by the age of 15. No one explored why I did not want to be a girl. More and more kids are falling for the false promise of happiness if they transition. Gender clinics in the US are turning a blind eye to European countries or pumping the brakes on this experiment on youth. Who here really believes that, as a 15-year-old, I should have had my healthy breast removed, or that it should have been an option? When the CDPH got less than 300 reports of people getting hospitalized as a result of vaping, San Francisco banned vape products that same year. So I know that you care about the health of children, yet you are allowing doctors all over the state to remove the healthy breasts of children. How many more children's bodies will be destroyed before you actually listen? What is a sweet spot? 100? 200? 1,000? SB 107 will open the floodgates for confused children like me to get the gender interventions that many so regret. I am the canary in the coal mine.
Don't know what's going on. The parents don't even know what they're teaching in schools. If you don't mind me asking, how old are your kids? Because I know you have 3 kids, right?
12, 11, and 8.
Do you think they're being indoctrinated by the school system, or do you have them in like a private Christian school?
No, they're definitely being.
Well, I had them in Montessori up until I got separated from them, but what school they're attending now, I don't know. I don't know if they're homeschooling. I don't know if they're going to a public school.
But if they're going to a public school.
But if they're, if they're going to a public school, yes, they're being indoctrinated. I mean, do you understand the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds are not good families?
Yeah, because it's peak capitalism. They're the upper 1%.
No, do you understand that they are the ones that have control over the education system?
Well, you want me to tell you what I've known for the past years I've been going to school?
Go ahead.
I'll be totally honest. With the LG community, all they say is just respect the people. They're not teaching our kids in school to be this way, like how the right perceives it. It's not like that. They're just teaching us how to respect people. And for the religious aspect, we don't learn about, we learn about religion in middle school. I remember learning, they gave us an introduction on Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, and we do that in high school too. I am a senior, So I did that last year in world history.
No, I don't think you understand what I'm telling you about the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers. And
Well, what have they done? Tell me why it's so bad that they run it.
okay, first,
Because they want you to be a nice little cog in their machine.
the whole program of the public school education system was designed to pump out industrial workers, little 9-to-5 drones. It's just like the Matrix harvesting humans as batteries. But in order to do that, you gotta dumb them down. And that's what the public school education system is. It's all about keeping the kids nice and dumb. Just enough so they can do
Function in their cog.
yeah,
position.
function in their cog position is what my brother is saying. So, yes, if you don't understand that, see, this is what I'm trying to say. You understand it's bad that the people with money are bad, but you just think it's because of capitalism. No, they're bad because the few control the many. And when the few are indoctrinating the public schools education system to intentionally dumb down the kids, starting with the kids, just enough so they are complacent with authority and expecting Big Brother to take care of them. I mean, that's exactly what you are echoing right now. So the programming is succeeding.
The very
Well, I
fact
mean,
that you
I
think
don't
that things should
learn.
be free means the programming is succeeding.
Well, I don't learn just from school. I mean, I mainly learn from out of school. I feel like I learn more doing my own research on different social issues that I deeply care about.
You're still in the environment is what my brother says.
There's a
But
reason why you mentioned is your kids in private school or something like that, because the environment matters. The very fact that you're in the public school environment is affecting you whether you acknowledge it or not.
So, what do you guys think about? Do you think men have more priority than women?
no, why would men have more priority over women?
I don't know. It seems like a lot of Christians are like that.
Captain, the lifeboats are ready to go. Should we load the women and children first?
No, men and children first.
Excuse me, sir.
Men and children first.
Yes, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, for the time being, I am requiring men and children only.
Yeah, you got a lot of sexist people that misinterpret the Bible, but if you understand what a helpmate is, Ezer Kenegdo, that's an equal helpmate, i.e. the opposite. It does not mean inferior.
But there is hierarchy.
Yes, there is hierarchy, but Jesus said the first shall be last. So yes, men are up top, but guess what? You know what the person up top has to do? Has to serve the least.
I'm surprised you haven't divorced your wife yet.
Why?
I mean, didn't she cheat on you and you had a physical altercation with her?
Yeah,
So why don't you divorce her?
I have every right to.
So do it.
Why would I do it because a little kid tells me to do it? I mean, just think about that for a second. If I haven't done it yet, do you think I'm gonna suddenly do it because some 18-year-old boy tells me to go do it?
Well, why didn't you do it?
Why didn't I do it? See, that's a better question. Because I was called to be a Hosea. Do you know who Hosea is in the Bible?
No, I'm not very educated on the Bible.
Hosea was a prophet that was called to marry a harlot.
Oh, yeah, marry a prostitute. I remember you telling me about this.
God's relationship with Israel.
And it was to... Go ahead.
It was to signify God's relationship to Israel. Hosea, you're going to play me, and then Israel is going to play the whore. That's what she is. That's the reason why you're marrying a prostitute, because that's exactly what Israel's been doing to me.
Well, I mean, let's put God aside for a second. How do your kids feel? Do they know about the altercations and what your wife did?
Well, the thing is kids can only process so much as a kid.
And time will tell the truth.
And once they process everything, once they're older, they'll understand what happened. But right now, as of right now, especially based off of the things that my wife and my mother-in-law did, for example, my mother-in-law pulled a Rosa Parks, okay? This is why I have no fucking sympathy for these Rosa Parks out there. So when these people gloss bitches like that create and manufacture a situation and then become the martyr, become the victim, I have no sympathy. I've got PTSD from that. So my mother-in-law gets right up in my face, and my kids are all watching while she's screaming at me. And I said, get away from me. And I grab her to push her away from me. And she physically throws herself onto the ground and makes it look like I shoved her right in front of my 3-year-old son. And he screams his blood-curdling scream. And from that moment on, when he was my bestest friend, he wouldn't go nowhere without daddy. He wouldn't even come near me because I was the bad guy. guy. And she pulled a Rosa Parks. You understand? Is it starting to connect now?
Here, I will say that the other night I was talking about my personal experience with T people, you know what I mean? And are you for facts over feelings and personal experiences?
Yes, of course.
But feelings are important, but not important enough to trump facts.
Well, based off what you were saying of the Rosa Parks thing, it seems like that's just going from your personal experiences, and that's why you bring it up all the time.
No, man.
It's to show you a pattern.
Listen, if I was to find the video where Vince Everett Ellison is actually going over the physical communist playbook, you would understand that you thinking that I'm injecting my personal experience to Rosa Parks as some sort of bias. No.
And everybody, American history says Rosa Parks was this heroine that came and sat on the bus in Montgomery bus boycott, and that she wouldn't give up her seat to a white woman, and that started the Montgomery bus boycott. And the Montgomery bus boycott started the civil rights movement, and the civil rights movement cleansed America of its original sin of slavery, and now everybody in America is happy and it's kumbaya in America, all because Rosa Parks decided to bravely not give up her seat to that white man. All of that is a lie. Rosa Parks, from what I understand, was a plant. But American history loves some Rosa Parks. Let me tell you why Rosa Parks and MLK is so important to the story of America. Why they have to maintain the lie. For 200 years almost, America had been called this racist, backward, ignorant, stupid country by the Europeans. I mean, they came to America and they saw slavery. They say, this is a peculiar institution. We going on these plantations, man, and we're seeing these children that are half white and they look just like the master. I mean, 20, 30 of them. Masters out there just getting down with the slave women and having children, and then he's gonna put his children on the auction block and sell them. It's crazy. It's crazy down there. Madness. And all this got back to Europe, and people were looking at America as this backwards, crazy nation, and Abraham Lincoln knew it. So in the Civil War, even though the slaves did not ask for nor participate nor have knowledge of their freedom, Abraham Lincoln gave it to them. He said, it's going to do us wonders for our public relations worldwide. Well, Jim Crow sat in after they ended slavery. The 13th Amendment, right to vote. 14th Amendment, equal protection under the law. 15th Amendment, the right to vote for men. They thought they may have done it. But no. The white Democrats down south said no. So they brought in Jim Crow. And Jim Crow became an embarrassment to America. But you couldn't get it stopped because of federalism, how the Constitution said that the states controlled their elections and so much of what went on in their communities. The federal government had very little power. The FBI and the federal police force barely existed back then. And every time you tried to pass something in Congress to give the government more power to go down and try to make these southern states treat black people correctly, of course it'd be vetoed. They can never get it done. So Jim Crow became an embarrassment to the United States of America. America became known all over this world as a hypocritical nation, as a racist nation. And communism came up, and the communists said, look at America, you people of color all over the world, Asian people, you African people, you people in the Caribbean. Look at America, you people in India and all over the world. It is a racist nation that hates you because of the color of your skin. And America says, oh my goodness, guys, we are in a quandary here. The communists have taken over China. They've taken over Vietnam. They've taken over North Korea. They are here in Cuba. How are we going to stop this? Well, the first thing they say we got to do is we got to prove to the world that America's not a racist nation. How do we do that, y'all? MLK and Rosa Parks. We do an MLK birthday. We give the black guy a monument in D.C. And whenever they call us a racist nation, we can point to that and say, see, no, we're not. Even though they know King was no good. Even though they know he was a communist, a Marxist, a philanderer. Because black people has accepted them as their God. And white people say, if that's who you want, that's who you got. Because it cleanses us. And it tells the world on the world stage, we are not a racist nation. And America wanted to prove so badly that they were not a racist nation. Look at what they did with Rosa Parks. They made Rosa Parks the first American who had not been a public official to lie in state in the rotunda of the U.S. Capitol. Did you hear me? The first person that was not a member of our government to lie in state, a private citizen at the nation's capital, that was Rosa Parks. Why did America do that? As a symbol to the world. Look at us, world. We are no longer that racist, backwoods, ignorant rubes that the Democratic Party was, the Bull Connors of the world. That's not us any longer.
What I am depicting to you is that this pathological bullshit that I've personally experienced myself is in a fucking textbook somewhere, son. And I don't have the energy to go and find it right now and show it to you.
The 45 Goals of Communism in America and how they plan to fundamentally change our society. I was derived from a book called The Naked Communist by W. Cleon Skousen, who was a CIA agent. And you look at those 45 goals, it was things like gaining control of the public school system and the teacher unions so that you could indoctrinate the kids, gaining control of the news media and Hollywood so that you could manipulate the opinions of people, denigrating the role of the family, denigrating the role of the church, getting into the churches and changing the real gospel to the social gospel, making sexual perversion normal, natural, and healthy.
How far away from that are we now, do you think?
It's one of the reasons that Khrushchev was so confident when he talked to Eisenhower and said that your grandchildren's children will live under our system. We won't have to fight a war because we think we won the Cold War. But they had a much better plan on how to actually change this, and we're falling.
But I'm telling you, I'm twice your age and I'm explaining things to you, and if you really go out there and find all of the information, why aren't you paying attention? Why aren't you asking better questions?
I think you're just spewing this nonsense because of how worked up
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Have a nice day, son. All right, I'm gonna recast the line. Y'all follow for more.
I know you were trying to troll.
Peace.
You want a voice, but just white noise. Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, when I've got a choice.